Hello, students. Have you ever thought about how a leaf manages to turn sunlight into food? It's not one simple reaction, but a fascinating two-act performance, just like a movie with two parts. Photosynthesis happens in two main phases. The first is the light-dependent phase, also called the photochemical phase. The second is the light-independent phase, often called the dark phase or biosynthetic phase. These two phases don't happen in the same place inside the chloroplast. The light phase happens in the thylakoids, while the dark phase takes place in the stroma. And here's the beauty: neither phase is complete on its own. They work hand in hand to convert sunlight into stable, usable chemical energy, the very energy that sustains life on Earth. So let's step into the first phase, the light-dependent phase. As the name suggests, this phase can only occur when light is present. It takes place in the thylakoid membranes of chloroplasts, where chlorophyll pigments are embedded. In this stage, light is the trigger. The moment photons, the smallest packets of light energy, strike chlorophyll, a rapid series of reactions begins. The products are threefold: oxygen, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy currency of the cell, and NADPH, a powerful electron carrier. Think of this phase as the plant charging its batteries with sunlight, getting ready for the next step, the manufacture of glucose. Now, let's look at what happens first in the light phase, the activation of chlorophyll. When photons of light strike chlorophyll molecules, the pigment becomes energized. The chlorophyll releases high-energy electrons, which are picked up and passed along an electron transport chain. This electron flow drives the production of ATP and NADPH. So in simple terms, light gives chlorophyll a burst of energy, and chlorophyll passes that energy on in the form of excited electrons. This is the spark that ignites the entire process of photosynthesis. Next comes one of the most amazing steps, the splitting of water, also known as photolysis. Here, the absorbed light energy is used to break down water molecules into their components: hydrogen ions, electrons, and oxygen gas. The reaction looks like this: 2H2O gives 4H+, 4 electrons, and O2. The hydrogen ions and electrons go on to make ATP and NADPH, while oxygen is released into the atmosphere as a byproduct. And isn't this incredible? The oxygen that every animal and human breathes in comes from this exact step, the splitting of water inside a leaf powered by sunlight. Let's carefully follow this diagram that beautifully summarizes photosynthesis. On the left, we see the light-dependent reactions which take place in the chlorophyll-containing thylakoids. When sunlight strikes, water molecules split into hydrogen ions, electrons, and oxygen. The oxygen is released, that's the very gas we breathe. Now, notice the pathway of the electrons. As these electrons move down the electron transport chain, their energy isn't wasted. Instead, it is cleverly used to add a phosphate group to ADP, forming ATP. This process, driven by light, is called photophosphorylation. At the same time, NADP, a carrier molecule, picks up hydrogen and becomes NADPH. Together, ATP and NADPH are like fully charged biological batteries, storing energy temporarily. Now look to the right of the diagram, the light-independent reactions in the stroma. Here, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere enters. Using the energy tools ATP and NADPH, the plant converts carbon dioxide into glucose, a stable form of stored energy. Glucose may even be turned into starch for long-term storage. So remember, the light phase doesn't directly make food. Instead, it manufactures the energy currency, ATP and NADPH, which power the dark phase to actually build food. Isn't it fascinating how nature organizes this teamwork between the two phases to sustain life on Earth? Now comes the second phase, the light-independent phase, often called the dark phase. The term dark doesn't mean it happens at night, it simply means this phase does not require light directly. Instead, it uses the ATP and NAF produced in the light reaction. This phase occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast, the fluid-filled space surrounding the thylakoids. Here, carbon dioxide molecules are fixed into glucose through a series of enzyme-controlled reactions. Several glucose molecules may then combine to form starch in a process called polymerization. So you see, this phase is where actual food is manufactured, silently, without the need for direct light, but fully dependent on the energy stored in the first phase. So let's bring the story together. Photosynthesis is a two-step masterpiece. In the light-dependent phase, water is split, oxygen is released, and energy is captured as ATP and NADPH. In the light-independent phase, carbon dioxide is fixed into glucose and starch, using that stored energy. Both phases occur in different parts of the chloroplast, but are tightly linked, like two gears of the same machine. The result? Sunlight is transformed into the chemical energy that feeds the world and fuels life. Isn't it breathtaking that every green leaf is running this two-phase program every second, turning invisible photons into food and oxygen? Biology, once again, shows us how elegant and powerful life's processes truly are. Until next time, keep looking at the green world around you with awe, because inside every leaf, a silent miracle is unfolding.